Okay, today I'm over at Dick Wade's mother's house, and he's going to show us his 32 Ford 3-window that the Kennedy brothers built up for him. So let's go take a look at it. Hey Dick, what's the deal on this decal?
That decal is a charter member decal for the National Hot Rod Association from 1951. That's when they started. And when they sold their memberships initially, that was the decal that came in the kit. Charter member.
Cool.
It was 1951.
So this car was, you had a lot of work done over the Kennedy brothers?
Yes, when I bought this car from Don Thieland at a swap meet in Long Beach probably 40 years ago. And Augie stored it at his house for a while. I had it stored at my mom's house for a while. And then I took it apart and had it stored down at my shop on Venice Boulevard for a long time, and finally Augie had a car done at the Kennedy Brothers. It's a 3-window, and so he talked me into using the Kennedy Brothers to do this car because I didn't make any progress on it. And it was a channeled race car. Channel 7 inches over the frame. It looked like a horrible mess. And I took the body off the frame and I got rid of the frame. The frame was horrible. And I got another frame from Jack Chard up in Buellton. He's a good friend of mine. He sold me a real nice frame, and so I gave the frame and the body to the Kennedy brothers and turned it over to them, and I supplied all the parts and they supplied the labor, and this is what we came up with. There's quite a few unusual features on this one that you don't normally see. The front frame horns have been cut back like the McGee, the famous McGee Roadster has them, that has the frame horns shortened like that. The Joe Nitty car has the frame horns shortened like that. Several other cars. That was a real popular thing in the late 40s to shorten the frame horns on a highboy. So the frame horns are shortened like that. It's got a Okie Adams axle, which is pretty rare. There's only about 100 of them, according to Okie Adams, before he passed away. I had a friend in North Carolina come out and interview him, and he interviewed Okie, and Okie estimated he made about 100 axles from 1946 to 1958. In that 12-year period, he thinks he made about 100 of them. So that's a real Okie Adams axle. Matt Bryant was Kennedy Brothers' #1 welder over there at his place. I think Matt's in Idaho now. Everything in this car is hand fabricated. Nothing bought out of the Speedway catalog. Everything's hand fabricated. Matt made the hairpins. made the steering arm, and the welds are so beautiful. I didn't let him grind them. We just chrome plated over the wells, so you can see the wells and whatnot. Like on the steering arm right there, you can see how nice the wells are. That's all handmade stuff. Nothing is out of the catalog.
Well, what about the frame? Is it boxed? It
Yes,
looks stock.
Now, it's what they call step boxed. It's boxed, but the boxing plate is stepped in about a half an inch
Oh, right.
all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a step box frame. It's got an F1 box in it. It's all with all new guts. I got from Jim Gordon over there in Rosemead. I bought a lot of stuff from Jim Gordon, new old stock stuff, to put this car together. The shock mounts are Mopar shock mounts. They're not F1, they're actually Mopar. They're a little thicker. And then the shocks, I was kind of obsessed with the McGee car. I bought a Roadster one time from a guy named Harry Ringer, and he was good friends with Bob McGee. And Bob McGee and Harry Ringer built that car and Harry's car at the same time. So I had kind of like the twin to the McGee car. It wasn't as nice as the McGee car, but it was that same theme. And I had that for a little while and made a mistake of selling it. And the guy sold it to a guy in San Diego that made a resto rod out of it. It's totally destroyed the car. It's not the same car anymore, but I did manage to get the dash and the windshield. Some of the pieces that the guy didn't want, I was able to buy those parts back, and those parts are on my Roadster that I have at my home. I've had that Roadster since 1973. But anyways, the shocks, I had them, they're regular shocks, but I had these bells made extra long and welded on and chrome plated and everything. So these are identical to the shocks that were on the McGee car in 1948. The covers are real long. You buy shocks now and the covers are real short. They're way up here. So to duplicate the McGee thing, I had them, the muffler shop made these, belled them out, and then we welded them on the shocks and get them plated. So those are like the McGee car had in 1950. Yeah, I don't think it has those shocks on it now, but and the brakes are Lincoln, 41 Lincoln brakes. They're the ones that you don't have to modify, just they bolt right on. They're very hard to find.
And okay, Dick, how are these headlights? What type are they, and how are they mounted?
Well, these are arrows. I think they're 770s. And what I had them do was, I didn't want a bunch of stuff bolted to the frame, so I had them use the shock mount towers incorporated with the headlight bar and the headlight mounts and the shocks all together, so they're only bolted to the frame on each side one time. In other words, some guys, or most guys, they'll have a headlight bar and they'll cut it down and they'll mount their headlight to that, and then the shocks will be a different deal. I wanted everything integrated so there's not a bunch of stuff bolted to the frame. So it's all integrated into like one unit.
Okay.
I think it just looks cleaner, it's simple, and it looks good.
I agree.
Not a lot of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to go fast, you can't have a lot of stuff bolted onto your car. So that's why it's all just kind of integrated into just 4 bolts holding all that stuff together. What else? The bat wings are made out of 32 Ford wishbones, cut down. It's got a tapered leaf spring on the front. tapered leaf reverse die spring. I was setting up for an Arden. I have everything to put an Arden in it. I got an Arden radiator and all that stuff. I got everything for an Arden. It's just a matter of am I going to get around to doing it or not. And
I noticed when I was walking into your mom's garage here, at the rear end is like a quick change.
yes, it's a very rare quick change.
Yeah.
I bought a Pat Warren 2-speed quick change at one of the swap meets from a guy named Bernie Couch. Bernie Couch was selling the quick change for a friend of his that had passed away. The guy's name was Mel Ball. Mel Ball had a streamliner that he ran at Bonneville, and he had this Pat Warren 2-speed quick change in it. So I had bought a Model A 2-speed quick change 2 or 3 years before, so I knew what it was. So when I got this, the Model A quick change, I called up Downey Machine to talk to Pat Warren. Well, Pat Warren was not there anymore, but he was still alive. And the guy asked me what I wanted. I said I'd like to get more information on the 2-speed quick change. So he gave me Pat Warren's number, home number, and I called Pat Warren and asked him to explain about the 2-speed quick change. And he told me what the purpose was, how they run the circle track, and as the track dried out, the guy driving it could change in a slightly different gear and give him an advantage. I said, did you ever make any did you ever make any V8 quick changes? And he said, yeah, we made about a half a dozen of them for the Bonneville guys. So they made about a half a dozen Pat Warren 2-speed V8 quick changes. And I bought one. And when I bought that V8 quick change, in addition to the quick change, there was another kit there to convert a Halibrand to a quick change. So that kit is in this car, bolted up to a 201 Halibrand with the Pat Warren 2-speed stuff on the back. I still have the original unmolested 2-speed quick change V8 that I got from Bernie Couch. I got that in my stash with my other rare stuff, I guess you might say. So.
And then this is a Model T spring. It's chromed. And
yeah, it's a tapered leaf Model T spring. So most of Model T springs are not tapered leaf. I don't know what year, but the earlier ones, like 1918, 20, right in there, they had taper leaf springs. So that's a tapered leaf Model T spring. And 40 housings, narrowed to deuce width. They cut them down, I believe it was 5/8 of an inch per side to make them make the rear end deuce width. And it's an open drive it's got a turbo 350 with a 283 out of maybe like a 60 or 61 power pack car, something like that. So the Kennedy brothers supplied the engine and trans, and I supplied all the other stuff. It's got Lincoln, well, not Lincoln, but they're 5-inch wide wheels on the back. They're like from farm trucks, 16-inch by 5. They came on farm trucks and stuff in the 50s, up till 60 something. Anyways, a pair of those are pretty hard to find. They have the volcano type lug holes on them, which are stronger than the normal ones. 48 Chevy taillights. Let's see what we've got in here. I got a stainless steel tank, 18 gallon, Optima battery and new floor pan. The floor pan was all torched out of this. This car was rust free, but it was just a disaster as far as all the channeling they did on it, you know. So it was a rust free, but it was a real. I don't care for channel cars. Some people like them, I don't. So I brought it back on top of the frame.
Yeah, I noticed you have like an Auburn dash in this car.
Yeah.
Oh, what about the top? The top is.
The top is Bobby Walden is supposed to be making an aluminum insert for it. I hurt my back here about 6 weeks ago, and I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it or anything. I gotta get something done with my back before I can do much hot rodding.
But
my plan is to have an aluminum top, skin made, and then have it louvered up. Also, I have a deck lid from Brookville, skin that I want to get louvered up too. I want to get all the louvers to match.
Right. But so the Kennedy brothers did the chop.
Yes, they did. Yeah. Jay did the chop.
But it's tapered. It's not straight.
Yeah. I told him there was a guy that Marcel that did a 3-window in the sometime in the 80s, early 80s. And he chopped a 32 3-window and he leaned the top forward like a 33 34. The 33, if you notice the 33 34 tops, they don't go straight up like a Model A, they lean. So I had Jay, when he got ready to chop the top, I went out there and I picked the angle for him to match. And I don't know if you can see it over here or not, but this plane right here matches this plane right here on the door. It leans forward. So this and this match according to a protractor.
Oh.
Okay, so it's leaned forward that much. It just gives it a little, takes the Model A look out of it, I think, you know. So they did that, and then the top is not lengthened, and then the front posts are sunken in here, so, and lean back, but not that, you don't notice it that much because there's no kink or anything in it. It's all blends in. He cuts this out and does it, puts it back in. It's chopped like a hair over 3. Not much, but a little bit. The way it came out, then it all got leaned around and everything. You said an Auburn dash?
Yeah, I like that Auburn dash in there. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come in.
I'll go around the other side.
Okay.
It looks a little different mounting than what I've normally seen.
Well, to put an Auburn dash in a 3-window, it's not easy because the Auburn dash is wider than the 3-window this way. So they had to cut the Auburn dash in the middle and narrow it up. Now this is not an Auburn dash up here. This is a 32 3-window dash rail. It took 2 dashes to make this dash. 32 3-window dash rail. I bought a 32 3-window dash that was all butchered up, but this part was good. So Jay took the 3-window dash and spliced the Auburn dash to it. And this has got a full depth in here. It's nice and deep. I took an Auburn dash and had him cut the dash rail off the Auburn dash and put the 32 3-window dash rail onto the Auburn dash and then shorten it in the middle so it'd fit in the car. So it's a lot of work. I mean, it looks good, but it's a lot of work to put an Auburn dash in here and make it look good.
It looks like it's tapered.
Yeah, it's
too?
lean. It's lean forward too.
So it makes it easier to see the gauge.
Yeah, you can see the gauges. It's not straight up and down. I went out there and I got in the car. And he had everything pieced together and he leaned at it and I told him when to stop and he tacked it. He tacked them where I told him to, and that's the way it came out. So it's perfect for me. It's made for me, you know, as far as the way I look at it and everything. So yeah, it's got a bell wheel. It's not on it right now. It's a anti-theft device, I guess you might say. But anyways, so that, yeah, Auburn dash, and then the gauges. These are, I have Auburn gauges, except for these two gauges are not. They're Stuart Warner. The reason I don't have the Auburn gauges in there now is because I needed a capillary tube for the temperature gauge, and the mounting for the oil pressure gauge was wrong. You know, the Auburns have studs that stick out in the studs, and the gauge mounts on the studs. So the studs in the wrong location for the Auburn gauge, for the gauge I want to use. Okay, it's not in the right spot. So I got a 75-pound oil pressure gauge out of some other kind of a car from the 30s, and it matches the temperature gauge that I have, but I just got to get the mountings done, and then I got to get a new capillary tube for the temperature gauge. It's a 220 degree instead of 215 like this, and the oil pressure gauge is 75 pounds. But they'll look like this. They'll mount in from the back like the other ones do. When I get around to getting that done, as you get older, you're not as fast, I guess you might say. I got a header panel I got to put in it. And so there's stuff to be done, but it's got the door handles are 4950 Mercury door handles. That was a real popular thing back in the late 40s, early 50s, is to put Mercury door handles in them. So I put some Mercury door handles on it. I got another 3-window that I bought in 1972. I bought it in San Diego, and it was a hot rod built in like 49, 48, and it had Mercury door handles in it. 49, 48. Those door handles are 49.50. So, anyways, right in that neighborhood. I'm pretty happy with it. I haven't had an occasion to use it much because my back's giving me trouble, but it'll get there. It'll get there.
Well,
I don't know what else to say.
no, thanks, Dick, for telling us all the special details.
The car's pretty unusual. It's not just an average run-of-the-mill,
Right.
buy your parts out of the Speedway catalog type hot rod.
Yeah.
Almost everything on this is hand fabricated. Everything's, and there's nothing bought on the catalog, out of the catalog
Nice.
so far.
Nice.
That might change, but so far everything's handmade. I gotta put some Auburn knobs on the dash and stuff like that. There's a few little things to do, but it's pretty much the way it's supposed to be. Got a 3-piece hood with louvers. 3-piece louvered hood.
So those are like clamshell louvers?
What?
Those are clamshell louvers?
They call them dry lakes louvers.
Oh,
These are root lib louvers, actually. Actually, on my other cars, I have louvers that were made by Eric Vaughn. Eric Vaughn had these really nice louvers. He had made a die, and they were really nice. And he sold his louver press to somebody. I don't know. He sold his louver press to a guy that does hot rods, but the guy doesn't seem to be doing anything with the press. So when the time comes, if when I get my top insert and my deck lid, I got that already. I'm going to see if I can get Eric to go over and use his old louver press and punch some louvers. So I like all the louvers to match, and I like his louvers the best of all the louvers that I've, dealt with. And I'll probably redo the hood with if I can get him to do that, then I'll do a new hood with his louvers too. So his louvers will be all over the car. That's my plan, anyways. We'll see how it goes. But I like the three-piece hood. I like it without the strip in the middle and all that. The grill shell's peaked, which is something they used to do back in the day too. It's got a pretty nice peak on it, which I like. And I pretty much like the car, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I like it too, Dick.
I might put some rib front tires. I got some rib fronts. I might put those on it, and then get some put some 18s on the back. I might do that also. I got another Oki axle I'm working on, and I want to get it chrome plated. And I'm going to swap this one out for a chrome plated one. So there's going to be a few little changes, but mainly it's going to be like it is.
Well, thanks again, Dick, for showing us your car.
Okay, John, thanks. I'm pretty proud of the car. It was out there for 8 years. 4 years. They didn't work on it all the whole time, but it was out there shop for 4 years. And so, I'm pretty happy with it.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, they do excellent work, and they kind of they get it. They know what you tell them what you want, and they understand. I moved the tail lights because they were too close together. In the car originally, they were. I thought they were too close together, and I had to move them out to the edge of the trunk line on both sides. That was a big expense for a couple inches on each side, but that's what I wanted, and they understood it, so they went ahead and they did what I wanted to do. So they moved them. He says it's gonna be pretty expensive for not much change. I said, yeah, but that's what I want, so.
Well, the Kennedy brothers do nice work, and
I'm real happy with it.
Yeah.
Real happy. I'd be happier if it didn't have a Chevy, but we'll see.
That could change later down the road.
Well, I got everything. I got an Arden, and it's just a matter of getting an adapter and a couple other things, and finding a time to have it done.
All right, Dick. Thanks again.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for coming over.